is the plaintiff, Alan Lynch. He says he rented an apartment from the defendant and the place was in terrible condition. All his complaints fell on deaf ears and he was denied the use and enjoyment of his dwelling. He demanded the return of his rent until his complaints were addressed. They weren't, so he's suing for the past 4 years of rent in the sum of $3,279.90. This is the defendant, Esther Robinson. She says she addressed all the valid complaints the plaintiff had regarding his apartment when she took over the building from her deceased sister who owned it. The plaintiff told her he was dissatisfied for the 12 years he was living there prior to her takeover. He wanted compensation for his discomfort, and she knew then and there this guy was trying to play her. The man's still living there. He hasn't paid rent, and she wants to evict him. She's accused of ignoring a tenant's complaints.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff rented from the defendant, says the place was a disaster, and the defendant did nothing, and he's suing for 4 years of rent. Now, the defendant says the plaintiff's pissed off because he was living there a dozen years before she bought the place, and he carried a grudge. It's the case of the apartment of titanic proportions.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Mr. Lynch.
Yes, Your Honor.
You rented an apartment from Carol Robinson, who was your sister, correct?
Yes.
How long were you living there?
12 years, Your Honor.
12 years. And are you living there now?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and you haven't paid rent since when?
Since January of this year.
Did you pay January?
Yes, I did.
All right, so that's February and March rent that you haven't paid.
Yes, Your Honor.
And why haven't you paid that rent?
Due to code violations, and I have not received the benefits under my lease.
What's the problem with the apartment that makes you say that?
Well, Your Honor, there has been leaky roofs, mice infestation, drafty windows. Several times the heater went out. It's the unsightly appearance of the hallways.
Okay, do you have pictures to show me to describe
Yes.
what you're talking about?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, what's this a picture of?
That's crescent windows that constantly let in drafts during the winter.
Is there a problem in the window that I should be able to see in the picture? Because I can't tell from looking at the picture how cold it
Well,
is.
there's another picture also.
Okay.
The crescent windows have no storm protection. And during the winter time, there's a draft, and it causes the heater to constantly run.
Okay, you've lived there 12 years.
Yes,
So
Your Honor.
has that been happening for 12 years?
Yes, Your Honor. And I complained to the landlord. She said she would have them fixed, but she never did.
Why'd you stay living there for 12 years?
Because
If it was so bad, why would you continue to live there for 12 whole years?
Because the rent was, at the time, the rent was reasonable and affordable for me to live there.
All right, now what are these pictures of? What's this?
That's a picture of the mouse droppings that's still a problem.
Okay, and what is this a picture of?
That's a picture of a sink that I had repaired back in December that needed the faucet was broken.
Okay, is there the
But
one
I
with it now?
also have.
What is this?
That's the entrance to my apartment on the third floor
This is the
landing.
stairs that leads to where?
To my third floor apartment.
Okay, how
this
long was
year.
it like that? Where there?
That was after she had the roof patched up in it, but it still leaks. It still leaks today.
Okay,
But
so how long has it looked like that?
The roof has been leaking for 7 years, Your Honor.
Okay, how long have the buckets been out?
The buckets have been there all year until just recently.
So you're suing for, you want to be reimbursed in all the rent you've paid for the last 4 years?
Not all the rent, Your Honor, just a percentage of the rent.
What percentage is it that you're suing for?
I have a printout, a spreadsheet of percentages.
So the way you figured it out is you went back,
2015,
you want 1% for drafty, unweatherized windows in December of 2018, 4% in November, 3% in October. How are you coming up with the figures?
Well, Your Honor, these are rather conservative figures, and I figured that it's a percentage of the times that there was lack of 100% use and enjoyment of my apartment.
Really, the only thing you've shown me is that, which is, I'm not belittling it, but that the major thing is the leak in the hallway.
Yes, because I had to travel over that every time I entered in my apartment.
According to you, the mice infestation has been the whole 12 years you've lived there?
Yes, Your Honor. Because
Okay, so when you would complain, what would happen? Would they
she would
send
hire an exterminator. He would come and put the mouse traps.
And would that
the
control
poison,
it?
And that would stop it for a while, and then the mice would come back again.
How soon would the mice come back?
Usually during the winter and when there would be a lot of rain.
All right, so, well, what you're telling me is I need to look back at the last many years and rebate rent because the place was unlivable. But if it was so unlivable, why did you keep renewing your lease?
Like I said, Your Honor, I'm a senior citizen and the market is bare. It's hard.
This is
I'm
where,
on a
Philadelphia?
set income. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you come into possession of the place when?
In May of 2018, when my sister passed away.
Okay. And have you ever been a landlord before?
No.
All right, so how are you figuring all this out? Like, what did you do to get yourself up to speed?
Well, by the grace of God, I am.
Has God been a landlord?
Yeah, obviously he has been, because I've been getting direction and I've been leaning to people with the expertise.
That's what you do. Okay, so at some point, you are advised that the rent is woefully under market.
Yes.
And you have a meeting with the tenants and you let them know that you're going to have to raise the rent.
Yes.
And
Well, actually, I told them that I would keep their rent exactly what it is from August until January.
you gave them 4 or 5 months notice that you were going to raise their rent.
Exactly. And
All right.
then in January, it would be necessary for me to increase the rent.
Now, he stopped paying rent. He didn't pay February, he didn't pay March, right?
Right, correct.
Did he pay January?
Yes.
How much is the rent that he was paying?
$710.
And you were raising it to what?
His units, exactly like his, I'm going to ask $900.
Okay, and what did he say to you when you said that?
Okay, well, he said, why do you feel as though senior people, he says, I'm a senior, why do you feel as though we could afford to pay any rent increase?
Now, can I see, you made a statement at some point to them that you never gave me a new lease, so the last lease is automatically renewed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, where'd you get that from?
I've been counseled by the Tenants Union Representative Network of Philadelphia.
That's not true.
But that's not true.
So now, it's not true, it's not the law, that's not how it happens. When you don't have a lease, when your lease runs out, which is what happened on December 31st of 2018 in your case, then what it becomes is a month-to-month tenancy. So at any given month, she could just say, I don't like the shape of your nose, and you're out. In your case, we're skipping a step because you didn't pay February rent, and so she gets to immediately ask you to get out. Is there an eviction going on?
Yes.
Okay, what's the status of the eviction?
So, can you sue for the 4 years you endured living in a place that has mice and whatnot if you live there?
I think that you can sue for part of it because you're expecting a certain living conditions, and if that's not met by the renter, then they should get some of their money back.
You buying what she's saying?
Depends on the statute of limitations.
Well, let's say the statute of limitations doesn't apply. Can you get any of the rent money back if you live there?
I'm not sure, but I think you can, just because if it's uninhabitable, you should be able to.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
I issued a registered letter to pay rent with 3 days' notice or quit.
And then, so have you followed up and gone to court and filed an eviction?
I have not.
Why
I have
not?
not, because the realtor explained to me that when you're selling a building, which is my ultimate goal, that you have a better chance of getting more for the building.
None of this is making sense. I'm telling you, you need to get a new realtor. It is not easier to sell a building when there's a tenant in there who's squatting. That is not only not easier, it's infinitely harder because somebody's going to have to get him out of there.
I stopped because I was saturated with trying to get the units refurbished. I needed to get income. I haven't made a
He's
salary.
not going to pay you a penny. I know you're new at this, but I don't know what kind
that's part of the
I
problem.
get it, and I know you're plaguing me because I know you are a person of faith. I see it in the things you've said in your complaint. You say, I don't want to put him out. He wants to put you out. I'm not sure what you're doing.
No,
he hasn't paid rent, and now, wait, it's worse.
Okay.
Not only has he not paid rent, he's going to dig back 4 years ago, because that's as far back as he can dig for the statute of limitations, and he wants you to give back rent that you didn't get.
Right.
You picking up what I'm putting down?
I got you.
Yeah, proceed with the eviction. You can do 2 things at once.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
yes, I filed a case with, I called L&I, and they cited
What's
the
that?
building, license and inspection, and they cited the building with 4 violation codes.
You see what I mean? So you see what I'm saying? So he's calling, to get you in trouble, which is his right. But now there's consequences to that too, because they're going to want you out. So you understand what I'm saying? So it doesn't help you to have him there, not paying rent, calling inspectors on you. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your Honor, my next point is that I understand that I was supposed to have been returned one of my month's security deposit
When you're out.
after a year of being there.
That's absolutely false.
That's false.
I don't know where you're getting your legal advice, but that's false.
Okay. I also have letters where I've complained about the conditions in the
I know.
apartment.
The more
Yeah.
you complain to the government officials, the more you need to get out. That's what's. I mean, that's fine if that's your goal. But that's kind of where we're heading here. Are you from Philadelphia?
No.
Okay. Did you move to Philadelphia?
No, I've been gone. I've lived in California for 40 years,
Did
Your
you
Honor.
fly in from California for the?
I flew in to help my sister. When she had her last stroke in October of 2017, I packed up 40 years of life and I moved here to care for
God
my
bless you.
sister.
Okay.
Her and her sister never got along. They hated each other. So,
How dare you?
Don't let him upset.
in all due respect,
With all due respect.
for the departed, yes.
Oh,
Your Honor.
just stop. Look at me. This is simple stuff. Simple. You're freaking out. You're overcomplicating it. All right. You just have to go down to the courthouse in Philadelphia and ask for the self-help desk for landlord-tenant. Go in there. You don't even have to hire a lawyer. Sometimes it's better if you don't. File the eviction. Get the ball moving, because after you file the eviction, it might take a bit. So if you don't get that part started, the clock doesn't even start ticking.
Yes.
Okay? Now, I don't know, faith or no faith, why you would say things like, I don't want him to be out on the street. He's an older person. It's been his home. I don't want, when he just said in front of all of America that you and your sister hated each other. Why are you wasting your generosity on him? He's not paying rent. Get him out. You're not a victim. Don't be a victim.
Yes.
It's within your power not to be a victim. God helps those who help themselves. Help yourself.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Lynch.
Yes, Your Honor.
Am I gonna order her to pay you $3,279.90 of rent back for the horrible situation that you have lived under, that you apparently are holding on to with all 10 fingers and all 10 toes?
Your Honor, I'm going to say that I have faith too. I believe in God.
I hope
I've been
so.
paying my rent faithfully, religiously for 12 years.
Who are you paying it to now in February and March? You said you had it in escrow. Where is it?
It's in the bank.
Oh.
So, and like I was saying,
So when you sue, make sure you ask for rent, because apparently he's got the money in the bank. He just said it in open court under oath, and he's a man of faith, so he wouldn't lie after swearing to tell the truth to God. So please make sure that you also ask for rent, because he's got it. Okay. As far as your lawsuit against her is concerned, 0. My verdict is for the defendant. Good luck, folks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, the plaintiff fails in his bid to get $3,279. I don't think you made any friends today, Mr. Lynch.
well, it's not. I was not here to make friends.
Yeah, well, you obviously didn't, you know.
Well, it's sometimes the truth is hard to take.
Sorry, you lost the case. Anything you want to say?
I lost the case.
Okay, good. Good luck to you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Ms. Robinson? I hope you listened to the judge.
I did.
Really?
Yes. And I had started the process.
You
And
got to do it.
Yes.
Carry on.
Yes. And
Get him out.
Yeah, I have a good
Get him
friend standing through,
Help
help
her
me
out.
through this process, and I'm going to get it done.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Good for you.
It is so good to see you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And good luck to you.
Thank you
okay?
so very much.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Take care. Okay. All righty. You all have a great day.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you
Bye-bye. Harvey, what you think?
I'll make this short and sweet, Doug. You cannot sue for rent you already paid. You can only stop paying rent for the future, and then the judge won't make you pay if the place is uninhabitable. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.